Hey everybody, welcome into Across America Good News Edition. My name is Chip Brewster. I'm the regular host of this program. Earlier this week, though, I did get to fill in on my sister program, just regular Across America. So for any viewers out there that happen to catch me over there, you're a little confused. Why is he wearing a jacket? Why is he talking serious stuff instead of just the unique stories of Good News Edition? Now you know why. It's a team effort here at Nexstar Media. But what's this show about for those that haven't seen it before? This is where I get the chance to go through all of our local stations, and we've got more than 100 of them in Nexstar, and look for those unique, often featurey stories that are being made by those local journalists and bring like 6 to 10 of them all together for 30 minutes of, huh, that's my reaction, basically, every time I do this show. What kind of do we have on this particular episode? Well, we're going to take a look at a time capsule opened up from America's 200th birthday, a young man starting his own nonprofit, robots stepping into the octagon, a young lady who's on a mission to educate about reptiles, yoga with a touch of alpaca, and that last one going by didn't quite pop up there, but there's a story about a photo found, kind of like time capsule-ish, of Babe Ruth as a teenager. And Babe Ruth historians had no idea that he even played for the baseball team that photo was taken of him on. Yeah, you'll see it when we get to that story in a moment. But before we get to those, we have a couple other ones that we want to get through. We're going to start with one from our station WPIX in New York City, New York, about a man who had an incredible back injury, a massive rupture that basically broke his spine. He was told he had little to no chance to walk. Well, he overcame that. Now he's taking it a step further, actually more than a step further, more like millions of steps further. Check this story out.
This is something Fergus Farrell says he will never take for granted again: walking.
One thing that you do realize in a very quick moment is that what's really important in your life.
In 2018, he was told there was a 0 to 5% chance that he would ever move again after suffering a spinal cord injury. It happened while he was trying to move a metal bench in his backyard in County Galway, Ireland.
I got a more merciful pain up the back, and next thing I got an explosion, fell on the ground, roaring in absolute pain. I couldn't move my legs. Then I tried to touch my legs, couldn't feel myself touching my legs.
Doctors said a back disc had severed his spinal cord by 90%.
What are your thoughts that comes to your mind is what's most important, and now are my kids.
Farrell said his first goal was just to move his right big toe. 21 days later, he did it.
And then eventually I moved the toe next to it, and the toe next to it, and the toe next to it. And it was just a process, an absolute massive drive to keep on improving every day.
Farrell is now walking without even needing a cane. And although he says he still can't feel a lot of his lower body, his next challenge is to walk across America in 75 days. He's launching from the Brooklyn Bridge and aiming for California. Funds raised go to the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation and Spinal Injuries Ireland.
I'm also doing it for people that I may never meet or may never know, that can take something from this journey and maybe help them start on their first step of their next journey.
As for how he was able to defy the odds, how do the doctors explain how you're able to walk?
I never asked them. I won't say I don't care about the science of it. Once I know it works for me. And, you know, something that will work for me may not work for another person. But find what works for you and stick with it and work harder and push hard.
And Farrell will be on social media, where he will be documenting the walk from the span of the Brooklyn Bridge here all the way to the Santa Monica Pier. He welcomes anyone of any ability to join him for as long as they want along his journey. We are here on the Brooklyn Bridge. EILEEN LEHPAHMER, PIX 11 News.
And if you're interested, if you heard that and said, okay, how do I follow him? Maybe how do I join him? Like every story I'm going to tell you about in this episode, go to the website of that local station. You will get more information. So again, that was our New York City station, WPIX, if you're looking to follow that man and perhaps join him as he does an incredible, I mean, even without the spinal injury, an incredible journey to walk from New York City to Santa Monica Pier in California. We have a lot of stories like that on this show. It's part of the reason that I love it so much. Another incredible story, not quite to that level, but it's still like, what were you doing as a senior in high school? Did you have the 5-year plan? Did you already know what, you had something figured out, something passionate that you could devote your time to? I'm going to introduce you to a young man, and this is from our station WROC in Rochester, New York, that has not only figured out a passion, he's already started a nonprofit in order to pursue that passion.
It was really like nothing else I've ever been a part of.
It was August of last year when 18-year-old Joseph Schoen traveled to Ghana for the first time to provide humanitarian aid with the National Federation for Catholic Youth Ministry.
We visited a bunch of communities, saw all the mud villages they kind of lived in, and probably the most impactful thing to me was when we visited the refugee center in the upper eastern part of Ghana.
There, he would witness a way of life that was far from familiar to him, living in tents without any flooring and sleeping in the mud, having barely enough food to survive.
There I was just a couple hours ago when we got to our hotel saying, wow, this mattress is a little hard, to seeing the refugees and all these displaced people from war sleeping in the mud, in the dirt, getting bit by animals, and just having nothing.
Schoen returned to the States a few weeks before the first day of his senior year of high school, already thinking of ways he could help the families he met overseas while tying into his upcoming capstone project.
So I reached out to my connections that I had made there, and through the work of them, I was able to fundraise about $6,000.
And that is how the Good Samaritan organization began. With those funds, Schoen and his small but mighty team built 25 beds with mattresses, donated 42 pounds of rice and salt, along with hygiene products and school supplies.
And even for the kids, because we couldn't forget them, we bought them 2 soccer balls, because when I went the first time, we saw them playing with just the core of a soccer ball.
He says the refugee camp has less reported illnesses and that fewer folks are going hungry, all a testament to the hard work he has put in over the past year. As Schoen looks to help more folks in need across Africa, he hopes others will consider being a Good Samaritan too.
It's just shipping costs are super high, and pretty much it's just me and my small board right now trying to conquer the world.
He encourages others to spread the word about Good Samaritan and is asking for donations through his website. The link to that in this article on RochesterFirst.com. In Ontario, Ryan HERMENET, News 8.
Look at that. First 2 stories out of the gate, 2 different stories that you could actually participate with if you so choose. Kudos to that man for starting that. And I'm so excited about your future and the impact that you're going to have on others. Very cool stuff. Keep it up. One more story. And this one will tug at the heartstrings a little bit. I've been kind of setting you up for it with this first block. It's coming to us from our station WJZY in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's about a place called Camp Care. And they have a very specific mission, and they are very good at that mission. I will let John Lee do the explaining.
Once you've been here, some say Camp Care stays with you.
This is family, it's home.
What a ride.
This is going to be just like going down to Disney World.
There we go.
I went with Jonelle Newman to the setting that soothes him.
We're at the lake.
Every summer, Lake Lure lures people back to healing waters, connected by more than cancer.
You did what?
The care part of Camp Care stands for Cancer Ain't Really the End.
Of course, a lot has changed here over the past 41 years, but the unwavering part is the sense of caring.
And we always say we can't care about you.
Jonelle, the camp counselor, is still learning.
What is that called?
Jonelle was diagnosed with leukemia at 9. 25 years ago, he went to Camp Care for the first time. It opened him up to friends he calls family. As a counselor, it's back where he belongs.
Holes in my heart were just healed that I didn't even know existed.
It keeps the spirit of Camp Care alive is what it does, for these kids to care so much that they come back as adults.
But the somber fact is, not everyone returns.
I want to welcome you all to our celebration of life.
Every year, they remember campers who have passed.
Here at camp, we learned that it's okay to have all kinds of feelings at once. We can laugh and miss someone at the same time.
My love becomes a bird of light. Go now, I say, and it takes flight.
They listen to poetry about life and loss. and they also blew bubbles in tribute.
We were campers together.
Dara Marin and her friend Alexandra Shaney of Kannapolis planned on working as counselors together. Sadly, Alexandra died of nerve cancer, just shy of 21.
She had relapsed. And so she's been battling that for a while until there was a time that she just couldn't make it. Sorry. So I left a really good friend.
The fact that we can celebrate them, that their journey was not in vain.
I got it.
The relationships become deeper because they keep coming back. Evelyn Tew of Huntersville is here for the 6th year.
I can't decide if I'm gonna get a rainbow one.
She's making a memory bracelet.
Ooh.
After that, check this out. She made another memory, squeezing in some tubing on the lake.
I never thought I would have such a great experience with people like myself that were cancer survivors. I think that was a cool opportunity.
The lake sets the tone for both recreation and reflection.
From the outside, it just looks like a normal camp, but to us, it's a family.
Just don't ask which one the trapeze is.
Oh, I know that's what that was called.
No, that's the iceberg.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There we go.
At Lake Lure, John Lee, Queen City News.
Oh, just a couple of moments in that one that really get to me. You can't see me while the stories are running, but I'm over here like, okay, you got to get ready to talk after this. Get that stuff out of your eye. But anyway, amazing storytelling, as always, from our station in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've got to take a quick break. When we come back, though, we're doing a little bit of a blast from the past segment. A time capsule is opened in celebration of America's 250th from America's 200th, and Babe Ruth as a teenager. Really interesting photo. Stick around. We are back, and you're excited. I know it. It's a couple of interesting stories for this block. I don't know if that's industry speak or if everybody knows that, but that's how we organize our stuff here. So first one from our station WTAJ in Altoona, Pennsylvania. We had the big 250th, July 4th, it happened. Big to-dos across the country, right? There are still celebrations happening. And one of them is I find fascinating because it really is like you're stepping back in time. And that is the opening of a time capsule from 50 years ago when America was celebrating its bicentennial. And so check out this story and perhaps some own reflections on your past.
Tyrone residents getting a glimpse of memories from 1976, including loved ones and neighbors who signed off in a guest book or dropped off items in the time capsule as part of America's 200th anniversary celebrations.
I found my name. There's my mom and my dad.
Photos, coins, and documents, just bits of the town's history residents wanted us to see all these years later.
Bicentennial commemorative plates, these can be salvaged. They're in reasonably good condition. A Christmas ornament for that year. Peace on Earth, Christmas 76.
One highlight, a signature from the late Jimmy Carter, just before he was inaugurated as the 39th U.S. president.
He knew about the excellent trout fishing they had in the Spruce Creek Valley. And he would come in to do that and relax a little bit. And he'd bring his family, his daughter, and Rosalind. They did get to visit Gardner's Candy, at least his wife and daughter toured that.
Neighbors then buried a new time capsule to be opened in 2076. All these memories to honor the past and to teach the new generations.
Future generations need to know what life was like here in Tyrone. 2026, 1976. Knowing that Tyrone was founded in 1856 puts us at well over 100 years old. It blows my mind.
In Tyrone, KAELEI Whitlatch, WTAJ News.
You know what's going to be crazy is if this show's still going in 50 years. I mean, that by itself will blow me away, and it won't be me hosting. I'll tell you that right now. And then they do the story in 2076 of that time capsule being opened up, and maybe they play a clip of this show talking about, oh man, that got real deep real fast. I apologize. I don't usually let my brain just keep going down the path like that. Let's move on. Next story from our station KARK in Little Rock, Arkansas. Any Babe Ruth fans out there? You probably didn't know about this factoid because some other historians didn't know until they saw this photo of him playing baseball as a teenager on a local Little League.
Being an antique dealer, I have bought old baseball team photographs before, and so I just put it in my pile. I didn't really even look at it.
One picture tucked into a garage sale haul of clothes, shoes, and other items that Glenn bought for just $250. At first, she didn't think much of it until she took a closer look with a friend.
I was shocked. We both looked at it, and at the same time we said, Ruth, and I said, do you think that's Babe Ruth? And she said, it sure looks like him.
That's when she started researching and reaching out to professionals.
Took it to the Baseball Hall of Fame and showed it to Tom Schieber, the head curator there, and he was very encouraging and told me, that I should go for it.
Glenn has only shared the photo with a handful of crowds.
Babe Ruth loved Hot Springs.
Tim Reed, a Babe Ruth historian, has tracked his entire career and says Hot Springs was one of his favorite cities in the world. And this one-of-a-kind photo belonged in the city for Hot Springs baseball weekend.
That's why this was brought to Hot Springs. It's only been brought to a few places.
Reed says historians were only aware of Ruth playing for St. Mary's Industrial School growing up until this photo.
This was an extraordinary find. It's astonishing because there has never been a photo or positive confirmation before this photo and Storm Glenn's research into the photo that Babe Ruth played for outside teams.
The photo's so shocking to many historians, they couldn't even believe it.
He was never seen before in a Cherry Vale outfit or any other outfit similar to it. So we had to have our doubts. But sure enough, I spent hundreds of hours researching.
At the same time, Storm Glenn was also researching in Ruth's childhood town.
Living in California and having to go to Baltimore to do research, I spent 150 days.
That visit, extremely productive.
She confirmed that he played for other teams in addition to Cherryville, and this is all 100% proven.
Through museum visits, facial recognition tests, and thousands of hours of research, Glenn and historians were able to confidently say the photo is Babe Ruth. And her $250 garage sale find is worth a lot more.
I've had some estimates that it could go as much as $4 million.
Glenn says the whole process has been life-changing.
It's fascinating and exciting. I feel like it's the holy grail of Babe Ruth. I feel blessed and lucky.
That's another story that I'm really hoping we get to follow up on because I want to know if she does put it to auction, how much it actually goes for. $250 from a garage sale. She thinks, or someone's told her that it could be $4 million. I need to start going to some garage sales. That's what I think. And you are going to take a real quick break from me. And we come back, a few more stories, specifically some animal ones, including alpacas and reptiles. See you in a few. Animal stories, yes. Alpacas, reptiles. Totally forgot to say robots too, though, and that's actually the story we are going to start with. From our station, KRON in San Francisco, California. You're familiar with the octagon, like UFC, MMA. You're probably familiar with something, I forgot, there's different versions of it, but like battle bots. So they're bots that are on the ground, and they just try to like destroy each other. Okay, take those two things, though, and smash them together, and you get this.
In San Francisco's Nob Hill neighborhood is where you'll find this new sports arena, featuring robot on robot martial arts. The company REC puts on events like this.
I mean, if I'm going to put it simply, robot fighting is just sick. It's a lot like F1, very expensive, but we want to make it accessible to everyone through things like the REC Simulator, available on Steam. You can play, you can train to eventually come here and fight these robots that are hundreds and thousands of dollars.
The full-sized robots are controlled by human pilots in real time. The idea, turn robotics into a direct physical contest that feels both digital and real. Pilots use VR gear to control the robot's body, and matches like this play out in the arena.
It's an absolute packed house tonight. You're going to expect to see robots potentially getting absolutely destroyed. We could cause tens of thousands of dollars of damage. Yeah, we actually have a literal NASA engineer working on the robots, giving them policies, teaching them how to punch, fight, kick, and do all those sorts of things, including defensive maneuvers like getting back up from the ground.
A mix of sport, robotics testing, and human-machine skill. Robot martial arts forces hardware to withstand hits, fast motion, and heat. And what plays out is clear entertainment for fans.
San Francisco, are you ready?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, taken back or nervous about humanoid robots. But the way I look at it is two ways, right? There's a form of entertainment like we are tonight, but I think the bigger picture is that we have these humanoid robots in certain industries, whether it's agricultural industry or industrial industry.
I mean, here's the thing. AI is a tool, but here we're piloting the robots ourselves. The pilots here have actually trained on the REC simulator on Steam. They are not being controlled by AI. It is the blood, sweat, tears, the practice of the pilots here today that's going to bring home the win.
I'm sorry, my mic was muted. I was just saying, I don't know. If you've watched the show a bunch, I'm fascinated by technological developments and robots and flying like drones, things like that. That was just a little bit silly, wasn't it? Just a little bit. Okay, let's get to cuteness then instead. Next story from our station, WGN in Chicago, Illinois, takes yoga. Maybe you've seen other stories like goat yoga. All right, same idea, except bigger and fluffier with alpaca yoga.
There's something calming about being around llamas and alpacas.
I think it's just the humming that they make, the just serenity and just the peacefulness that they give.
That's the reason why Julie Gregg McCauley's family started the Hitchin Post Farm in Woodstock.
My dad being a Vietnam vet, they wanted him to get a dog, and then he decided, no, I don't want a dog, I'd rather look for something different.
8 years ago, the farm started with 5 of the woolly animals. They've grown to 38, with 2 more babies due this fall.
Because of anxiety, it really helped to calm him down because they are very, they're considered comfort animals. They're very peaceful. And I think this has done a world for him.
The farm seemed like the perfect place for Eva Sivak, who runs Reset Vibes yoga and Pilates experiences.
I was thinking one evening about that, what type of experiences I want to create, and I saw that, okay, I want to go to the farm for yoga. What type of farm? And okay, llamas and alpacas. That's the perfect fit.
Each Sunday, Sivak guides yoga students through a practice in the field.
We set up our mats, we set up a little brunch and picnic area, and we have yoga and they roaming around, they can scratch their backs through the ground and they can play together.
It's an escape from the city to connect with animals and nature.
Feeling ourselves fulfilled, energized and happy.
In Woodstock, Shannon Halligan, WGN News.
And we're going to go from cute and fluffy to small and scaly. One little girl is on a mission to educate others, whatever your size and age, that snakes are not scary if you just get to know them. Let me introduce you to Sassy.
Python and bearded dragon.
Meet Finley, a 7-year-old reptile lover with a big goal.
A lot of people out here are scared of snakes. I'm trying to break people's fear of animals.
She started Sassy Snakes and Such, a stand at the end of her driveway with the goal of teaching people that reptiles are not scary. Every day in the summer, she brings her pets outside to have visitors learn about proper reptile care. And if you're brave enough, she'll even let you hold one of her pets. She says she wants people to leave with a new outlook on reptiles.
People are scared of snakes and then they leave, they're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Her mom, Lindsay, says her passion to teach others started years ago. And for her, it isn't about showing off her pets.
She's very passionate about making sure that they are well taken care of and making sure that everybody that she talks to knows the best care possible.
Finley has taken in 4 rescue reptiles this year who originally were living in bad conditions. Her mom says not only were the reptiles rescued, they rescued Finley.
She has had massive anxiety. A year ago, she would never talk to a stranger. Like, she would hide behind me. And now she's seeking people out.
Finley says she hopes to one day run her own reptile rescue, continuing to educate others and give reptiles a proper home.
Because it's always right to do that.
In New London, Ellie Davis, Local 5 News.
Adorable. Keep it up, Finley, aka Sassy. And by the way, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I got that exact same reaction. Super cool. You know what was also cool? Doing the show. But guys, all good things come to an end. And so it is with that I say thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm Chip Brewster. Take care, everybody.